a trip out to the ocean. Gonna leave behind the great big sea. Got lots of friends who miss me all across the country. They can see me on MattTv, on MattTv, on MattTV, on MattTV. MattTV is recorded in front of a live audience.
It is, Joe. It certainly is. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, 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 and thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for making your Tuesday night a part of my Tuesday afternoon here on the south coast of British Columbia. I'm going to try and make this a 30-minute show. I think it's doable. 90% of this program is just going to be based on observations, situations that I've found myself in since Thursday. So let's get right to it. So just let me close a page here. I'm just going to close this page, go back to my MattTv Facebook page, refresh, and we are off to the races. Just a beautiful day here on the South Coast, and here's a few things that I'm going to talk about in the next few moments. We're going to talk about going to the United States, or just wait times in general. So we're going to talk about wait times, more specifically border wait times. A situation happened here, I think it was Saturday. Wait times going into the U.S. was just unbelievably long. James, how are you? Gloria, welcome to the program. So we're going to talk about that. And I want to try and make everything that I'm going to talk about here in the next few minutes, I try my best to make it relatable to you. So that's where audience participation, whichever way you want to say it, it's really should have a lot of fun here tonight. So please leave your comments if you so choose. We're going to talk about NCAA basketball and basketball exchange that I had yesterday with John in New Westminster. We're going to talk about that. April Fool's jokes. Did you play an April Fool's joke on anyone? Were you the recipient of an April Fool's joke? I've been on Facebook 11 years. We're going to talk about that. And tying in with that, I'm going to talk about people spreading hatred on Facebook, dinner buds, school teachers, sweeping and mopping. I heard this morning that there was a lockdown at Oromocto High School. Would like to get the details on that. And being banned. Have you ever been banned, or are you currently banned from an organization or a eating establishment? So all those things we're going to get to. Like I said, it is my job to make my program relatable to you watching at home or wherever and whatever device you are watching MattTv on. So glad that you are here live with me right now. So just let me scroll down so I can see the video, read the comments, and we're good to go. So again, broadcasting off my iPhone. Anytime I'm looking over here, I'm just looking at my laptop, and I'm so thankful that I actually have an internet connection here in the garage. So let's get to it. The last time I was here in front of my phone was Thursday evening. I was here Thursday evening. Maybe you saw the program. I know hundreds of people did. For that, I'm very grateful. I was speaking with Greg Cahoon, who was trying to get to Panama for stem cell treatments. He's in a wheelchair. He's been in a wheelchair for 8.5, 9 years. He will walk again. So that's really what the program was about. He had his girlfriend in here, Candace Turmel. So I interviewed the two of them Thursday night. It was a later show. I know I did advertise for a 6 o'clock start, which is 10 o'clock in the Atlantic provinces, but anyone who saw the show knows there was a barbecue, there was apple pie, and things just happened. So it was 8 o'clock Pacific when we actually did our live broadcast on Thursday night. But that being said, that 35-minute show has been shared 19 times and has been viewed just under 900 times. So 900 people, just shy of 900 people, watched the interview that I did with Greg and Candace. So thank you for all the live views, and thank you so much for sharing. That's really all I was asking people to do. He is trying to raise $50,000, and I know there are organizations and charities and individuals who need help, who are always seem to be looking for financial assistance. So if you can donate in any way, that's greatly appreciated. We put some links up for his GoFundMe, but for me, it was just important to share the story. Just share. So again, 13 shares, just shy of 900 views. The interview I did Thursday night with Greg Cahoon and his girlfriend, Candace Turmel. So thank you for all the live views. So greatly appreciated. So let's get right into the main focus of the program. And again, MattTv is a platform that I created to, it's my outlet. It's my outlet. I come in here whenever I really want to come in and play around. I try and give people a heads up as to when I am coming in. I told my audience today that I would be doing a 4 o'clock show, and exactly 4 o'clock I come in here. And when I run out of things to say, I will walk away. But all MattTv is just observations, things that have happened in my life. I just make notes. The notes are here, everything's highlighted, and I just try and have some fun and make situations that have happened to me relatable to you. So let's test it out. Let's see if I can do that again tonight. So the first thing I just want to backtrack a few days. Everything that we're going to talk about happened in a chronological order. So we're just going to backtrack a few days, and we're going to go back to Saturday, which was the Easter long weekend. Maybe some of you saw the video and some pictures I put up Saturday afternoon. The snakes. Jen and I went for a walk to Campbell Valley Park, which is maybe 15 minutes from here. But on the way there, as we're traveling 8th Ave heading east, you could see the lineup of vehicles trying to get into the United States. We're 10 minutes away from the Peace Arch border. Saturday afternoon, it was the longest lineup that I have ever witnessed in the 18 years that I've been out here. Mother, how are you? Marcus Harvey, welcome to the program. There was a 4-hour wait. So if you wanted to get into the United States on Saturday afternoon, the wait time was 4 hours here at the Peace Arch. And it didn't matter. The farther east you went, it was still a 4-hour wait time. So my question to you, what is the longest amount of time that you've ever stood in line? Maybe standing in line to get a ticket for a concert that you really want to see. Maybe a situation where you are trying to get into the States or coming back from the States. Just throwing it out there. What is the longest that you've ever stood in line or waited in line, regardless of what it is, for, maybe, like I said, concert tickets, whatever. 4 hours. People wanting to get to the United States Saturday afternoon, a 4-hour wait in your vehicle just to get into the States. And some of those people were probably just going there to get gas, because gas is cheaper in the United States right now. In South Surrey, the price of gas for a liter of gas is $1.56. I think here in the Lower Mainland, we are paying the highest gas prices, probably not just in Canada, but in North America. I might have to Google that, but I'm almost certain that people here in British Columbia are paying the highest gas prices in Canada, if not the United States. So, like I said, some of those individuals may have just wanted to go 10 minutes into the United States, into Blaine, Washington, to get gas, but you got to wait 4 hours to do so. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Anyway, I'm just throwing it out there. I saw the lineup, wrote it down, and I thought, I have to share this. I have to share this with my audience. Quickly moving right into Saturday afternoon. Just tremendous basketball. I think I'll try and wrap up all the basketball here in one segment. And here's what I don't understand. The men's and women's Division I, the NCAA, like the elite of the NCAA Division I, they have their March Madness tournaments. They're running at the same time, but the women don't get nearly the same coverage as the men, which is a shame. It's just a shame, because it's just tremendous basketball. I was watching, it was the Final Four for both men and women. And there's one lady for Notre Dame, the basketball team. She scored the game-winning buzzer beater in the semifinal. And on Sunday, she hit the same girl hit the game-winning 3-point buzzer beater to win the national championship. If you like sports, if you like basketball, if you like the excitement of the final moments of the game, and just Google Final Four buzzer beater, and it was just a tremendous, tremendous game. And then last night, Villanova, which was ranked number 1 and probably favored to win, they picked up the national championship last night, beating number 3 Michigan in San Antonio, Texas. So college basketball is all done. Villanova, the number 1 seed, winning for the men last night in San Antonio, Texas. And I think the other game, the ladies' Final Four was in Columbus, Ohio. I think it was in the state of Ohio. But Notre Dame, the ladies' national champions, just great basketball. And speaking of basketball, last night I was in New Westminster. I was hanging out with a coworker of mine, or a former coworker, John. And we like to go over, shoot some hoops. We're always finding different places to play basketball. And we found ourselves right down by the Fraser River last night playing basketball. And we were there maybe 5-10 minutes when we were approached by 2 young gentlemen, nicely dressed, with name tags on and carrying a Bible. So I figured they were either Jehovah's Witness or Mormons. So I knew that they wanted to engage in a conversation with John and I. So I'm shooting around playing hoops, and I looked at him and I said, look, guys, I will give you 10 minutes of my time if you give me 10 minutes of your time. And I wanted to play some hoops with these individuals, with these 2 guys. Come to find out, we ended up talking to these 2 representatives. They were Mormons. One guy, his name was Hall. I think his last name. They go, Mormons, they have their name tags. When people are going out, they're called elders. I'm pretty sure they're called elders. So one was Elder Hall, and the other individual was Elder Alexander. And Alexander was from Calgary, and Hall was from Salt Lake City, Utah. So John and I ended up having a conversation with these 2 young lads for at least 45 minutes, and they were inviting us to their church in Burnaby, because they play basketball every Friday night, and then it's their opportunity to teach us a bit more about Mormons. John had an idea. Why don't we have Alexander and Hall get on public transit, come to White Rock, and I would have those 2 guys in studio right here on MattTv. Here's the thing. These 2 young guys, they are volunteering, and they are basically completely shut off from the outside world for 2 years. So there's no internet. They're not allowed to watch the news. They're just very isolated, so that there's not any outside negativity, which is cool. But to give up 2 years of your life, and not give up. These guys are passionate about being Mormons and teaching the word of Mormon. But I tried to get them on the show, but I haven't heard from them today. But like I said, going back to the technology, I don't think they're able to communicate. And when he wanted to take my number, I did give him my phone number. And he flipped out a flip phone. He took out a flip phone. That was one of the funniest parts of the night. But I did invite them here. But even if they do get here, and this is going back to what I said from the very beginning, this is a platform that Facebook created. People can go on Facebook Live and talk about whatever they want to talk about. I've created MattTV as my platform, so I would definitely invite anyone here, regardless of their religion or their beliefs, to come on here and have their say, tell their side of the story, right? But even if they do make it to White Rock, and we do a show here on MattTV, they won't be able to watch that broadcast for 2 years. That would just be so strange, to do a show and not be able to see your own program for the next 2 years, because you're not allowed to watch the news, and you're not allowed to have the internet and all that stuff. So but good on them. I had a really good chat with these guys last night, and it's not easy. It's not easy. And I even asked them, I said, do you ever feel intimidated when you're out in public, when you're on a bus, when you're on SkyTrain? People are doing their own thing after a workday or whatever. Everyone's in their own mindset. I said, do you ever feel intimidated when you are trying to educate people or teach people? The answer was a resounding yes. So hats off hats off to those two guys. They could be here for the next month and a half, and then they may be here in the Lower Mainland, or they may be sent somewhere else in Canada. But good on them. It was a really good half-hour, 45-minute chat last night with Elder Hall and Elder Alexander. One from Calgary, and the other guy was from Salt Lake City, Utah. So very, very cool. I know that was just, like I said, this is just things that happened to me, but I could have totally ignored those individuals and just continued to play basketball. But that's not the type of person I am. I really enjoyed sitting down and having a chat with them and explaining, my beliefs and my points of view, and it was all good. It was all good. But the best part was when he pulled out his flip phone. I was like, John, look at this. Get a picture of this. Mark Nicholson, William Lunder, welcome to the program. Feel free to leave comments whenever you so choose, or don't. It's all good. It's all good. Yes, and Saturday afternoon was the men's Final Four, and I'll just throw this out there. There are some sports, there are actually a lot of sports that you can watch, and you don't necessarily have to listen to the play-by-play guy, listen to the color guy to understand what's going on. You can watch baseball, you can watch hockey, football. Like I said, there are many sports that you can watch. You don't necessarily need someone telling you, hey, this is so-and-so and bad. He just hit a double and blah, 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 blah. That was the case for me. I was watching the number 11 Loyola Chicago playing the number 3 Michigan Saturday afternoon. It was the Final Four. It was one of the semifinals. I had to watch most of that game on mute because I just cannot listen to Dick Vitale do the game. The guy is so in love with his voice, and I know he's a legendary voice, but his voice stomps on my last nerve. So, watching the Final Four, Loyola playing Michigan, I was just watching the game. I wasn't listening to it because I just cannot listen to Dick Vitale. So, throwing it out there, have you ever muted a sporting event because you just can't listen to the guy that's doing the play-by-play? Not necessarily because you don't like the sound of his voice, but maybe he's a little bit biased towards a certain team. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. And I haven't done that in a long time, but I've never been a fan of Dick Vitale. I don't know what it is. It's his voice. It really grinds on my nerves. Anyway. Okay, so just moving right along. Again, this is a program, and you can come and go as you please. There is absolutely no obligation for you to hang out here for the duration of my program. I'm just trying to bring you up to speed on what's happened in my life. You may find it interesting, or you may not. I don't know. But Saturday afternoon, had a great chat with my good friend Simon McGinnis. Simon McGinnis keeps freezing up. That might be on your end, because as long as it's still telling me that I'm live, I'll just continue to go. But I had a great chat with Simon McGinnis on Saturday afternoon, and I can bring you up to speed on exactly what is happening with the MattTv Canadian flag, DMFK. Just joined the program. What's going on, brother? I was thinking about you. We got to chat here real soon. Right now, the MattTv Canadian flag is in transit. It has left Conception Bay, South Newfoundland, and is somewhere between there and White Rock, British Columbia. Simon McGinnis actually sent me a screenshot today because you can follow packages with Canada Post. I am expecting, according to Canada Post, I am expecting this express package, which contains the MattTv Canadian flag. I am expecting it in the mail this Friday. So this Friday, I should have back in my possession the MattTv Canadian flag, completely full of signatures. And I'm gonna go out on a limb right now. I'm gonna say there are at least 400 plus signatures on the MattTv Canadian flag. Now, when I get the flag back, I will lay it out and I will count up every individual signature that is on that flag, and then I will make some kind of contest out of it. I see Dave. Yeah. And you know what, Dave? I totally agree. I'm going to talk about dinner buds. Coming up here in the program real quick. But I'm just going through my weekend, and we are into a Saturday afternoon. I think it was Saturday or Sunday. Facebook let me know that it was in early April 11 years ago. So I have been a part of Facebook for 11 years. Where did the 11 years go? Yeah. So they just sent me a message and a little montage of different videos and pictures that I posted. So I celebrated my 11th year anniversary with Facebook. Good or bad? And speaking with Facebook, this is a story that I saw on Facebook, and I'm going to talk about this real quick. I'm going to try and sum it up as best I can. But it's all about spreading hatred on Facebook. And here's what I mean. There was a story. I was just going through my news feed, and a lady had posted a story of her horrible interaction at a Walmart in Winnipeg. So what had happened, she was at a Walmart with her 85-year-old mother, and they were waiting for a shopping cart. It was busy, waiting for a shopping cart. This other lady sees that this elderly lady needs the shopping cart, so she gives her the shopping cart. And then out of nowhere, this other gentleman grabs the cart, puts his basket in it, and says, "I've been waiting here longer. This is my cart." And he takes the cart, and he's on his way. Well, the daughter was having none of that. So instead of just, because I have to add, shortly after that interaction, as rude as it was, within moments, this 85-year-old lady did have a shopping cart. So it's not like she had to go get groceries without a shopping cart. That did not happen. What did happen is that this daughter took it upon herself to confront this gentleman who had just taken away her mother's cart. It escalated to a point where she is wanting and did take a picture of this individual who she had no idea the type of day that he was having. So she's taking a picture and she's like, "I'm going to put this up on Facebook and I'm going to tell everyone what a miserable, rude person you are," without even knowing this guy. This guy could be someone's number one grandpa. We don't know because she didn't take the time to get to know why he was like that in that moment. So instead of just leaving it alone, she now has a picture and this long story, basically the same story that I just told you. She put it up on Facebook to publicly shame this guy, and it had 6.5, it had almost 7,000 views. Not views, sorry, shares. This one story about this interaction in a Walmart in Winnipeg had 7,000 shares, and the comments, there was not one good comment about this elderly man that nobody knew. People were losing their minds. "Oh, if that was my mother, I would have done the same thing." So I just piped in, and all I said was, "You know what? Here's an idea. Why couldn't you have just observed the rudeness of this individual and moved on? Instead, 7,000 shares of this story, just spreading hatred on Facebook. So something like this, something like that happened in a Walmart in Winnipeg gets 7,000 shares. I do a story on Thursday with my friend who's trying to raise money to go to Panama so he can walk again, and it got 19 shares. I am grateful for the 19 shares, but it seems to me that people would rather spread the hatred than spread the love. That is wrong. That is just so wrong. So wrong. I'm not siding. I'm not saying what this guy did was right. All I'm saying is, as adults, like, it got to a point where they were screaming at each other. The guy's like, "If you put my picture on Facebook, I'm going to sue you." Like, really? Over a shopping cart? Over a shopping cart at a Walmart in Winnipeg. Pretty sad. A mission accomplished for this lady, because it got me riled up. Got me riled up. I don't like getting riled up. I don't like it. Anyway, stop spreading hatred on Facebook, please. Stop spreading hatred. Page two. Okay, I talked about the guys last night. Now, this goes right into dinner buds. So I go and play basketball with John last night. When we go play basketball, we always try and find some place different to eat. We're into sandwiches. So we are always looking for a place to have a good sandwich. Unfortunately, there's not that many great places in New Westminster to get sandwiches. So we found ourselves at a White Spot, which was fine. I ended up with, what did I have last night? I just had spaghetti and meatballs last night at White Spot. But it was the conversation. It was the conversation that I had. You're in a restaurant. You're in a booth. You got people behind you. You have people in front of you. Sometimes you just cannot escape people talking, which I am suggesting that restaurants should maybe supply earbuds, just foamy earbuds that you can put in your ear so that you don't have to listen to anyone else. You're just there to eat. You don't even have to talk to the person that's sitting across from you because chances are they're looking at their phone anyway. They're looking at their phone anyway. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you a quick story of what I heard while I was waiting for my food to come, and then I come home and there's a story that kind of relates to it. Support local businesses, you animals. You filthy animals. I think that's from Home Alone. I know there's a video clip in there where that term is used. I know that's not what Keenan is referring to. Anyway, I'm sitting for my buddy John. He's in the washroom washing his hands. When you're out doing anything, before you eat, wash your hands. Wash your finners. As Keenan says, wash your finners. Oh, so he's off in the washroom washing his hands, and I'm just kind of chilling out, waiting for my food. And I'm listening to a conversation. There are two male individuals sitting in the booth in front of me. And all I hear one individual say, and I think the guy's name was Gary. I'm going to call him Gary. So the guy that is speaking is looking at his friend, and he's like, I don't know, Gary. I don't know if I don't have the professional skills to help you because it sounds like you're on the verge of a mental breakdown. So the guy that he is talking to, he is just unloading. He is unloading like he just cannot deal with what is happening in his life right now. This guy was a teacher. He was a teacher, and he was on the verge of a mental breakdown. So that is the conversation that I heard last night. So I come home, I make a note of it, and I'm scrolling through Facebook, and I come across this other story. And I just apologize because I'm just going to read this. I'm just going to read you a little clip, and I'll probably share this on my page. But this is one teacher, and she's talking about her nightmarish situation that she is in just trying to teach kids. It's somewhere in the States. I think it's in Texas, but just let me read this. Report cards come out later this week, and I have nearly half of my students failing due to multiple missing assignments. So some of our students are missing 8 to 10 assignments, and they are failing. Most of these students and their parents haven't seemed to care about this over the past 3 months. Though weekly reports go out, emails have been sent out, phone calls have also been attempted. But now I'm probably going to spend my entire week next week fielding calls and emails from irate parents wanting to know why I failed their kid. My administrator will demand an explanation of why I let so many fail without giving them support, even though I've done practically everything short of doing the work for them. And behavior in my class will deteriorate even more. I'm expecting this because it is what has happened at the end of every other term thus far. So my question to you, I know I graduated with a lot of people who are teaching school. Is being a teacher harder than it was, say, 5-10 years ago? Because I read a story. I'm going to post this lady's story on my own Facebook page. But it sounds to me like there are students who don't really want to do the work. The parents aren't really in the loop with what's going on with their kids' education. And when they come home with failing grades, they're like flying off the handle. this lady's office was destroyed by an irate parent that came in, furious that their kid was failing school. So, kids, you're in school to learn. You're in school to learn. So I'm just throwing it out there for all the teachers. Is teaching harder? Is it more difficult than it was 5-6 years ago? And would you recommend, if someone came up to you and said, look, I'm thinking of being a teacher, would you strongly suggest that they do a little more research into being a teacher? Because to me, it sounds like it's quite challenging. I couldn't be a teacher. So hats off to you. If you are a teacher, hats off to you. Like, you don't get paid enough. You really don't get paid enough. You're probably spending more time with parents' kids than the parents are. So good on you. Again, I'm going to put this story up on my Facebook. You can read it for yourself. Michelle Nowlin, welcome to the program. I sent you a message earlier. Let's talk maybe later this week or next week. Just wrap up how things went with the musical Footloose. Yes? Okay. I'm done ranting on that stuff. I just want to move into something that's a little more enjoyable today, because I'm still unemployed, but I'm so close. I'm so close to employment. I was speaking with the company today. I had to do a security background check last week. They are now calling my references. And that being said, I want to give a shout out to Derek Lowen, who used to be my supervisor. He's now living on Vancouver Island. He sent me a text today, said that the company had called him. He gave me a great reference. So thank you so much, Derek Lowen, for that. So that's where I am right now. I think I'll be a great fit for the company, and I'm just waiting on them. It's just a waiting game right now. So I'm hoping maybe tomorrow, maybe later this week, they will approach me with a proposal that I can accept, and we just move forward from there. But as of right now, still unemployed, but things are looking great. So being unemployed, I have some free time. So this morning, I drove Kai to school, and then Jen was out of the house because she's tutoring kids. So I had the house to myself for 3 or 4 hours. So what did I do? And here's the question. When you are sweeping, when you give your house a good sweep, and then you are going to mop the floors, do you pick up everything that you can off of the floor so that you are sweeping and cleaning as much surface space as you can? Or do you just leave stuff on the floor and mop around everything? Because anything that I could pick up off the floor was on furniture. It was tucked away in different rooms so I could give everything a good sweep and a good mop. See, we're not always that serious here on MattTv. So I'm just wondering, are you one of the types of people, when you clean, are you thorough? Everything that should be off the floor, everything that can be picked up off the floor, are you doing that? Are you doing that? Dave Keenan, yes. That's what I love about Dave Keenan, man. Dave Keenan, when you talk to Dave, he will always end his phone call with the word peace, and I love it. And that's exactly what he's saying here on his page. Share more love. Don't spread hate. Don't spread hate. Don't use Facebook for hatred. So again, how thorough of a cleaner are you? Myself, I just picked everything up. Everything that I like, chairs, other pieces of furniture. I think the only thing I didn't pick up and move were the 2 couches. Everything else was off the floor. Very, very thorough when I did my cleaning. Almost done here. I saw a post on Facebook this morning. It was about 10 to 10 my time, so it was 2 o'clock back in the Atlantic provinces. There was a situation at Oromocto High School where there was a lockdown this morning about 11 o'clock. I think the Oromocto RCMP released a statement saying that kids were able to move about inside the school, continue with their regular activities, but no one was allowed to leave the school. No one was allowed to enter the school. I thought I saw something about they were looking for drugs, so maybe the RCMP showed up on a routine check, and they just had the dogs in there, and they were just looking for all the stoners. I don't know. But if anyone can help me out with that, I don't know how that story unfolded. I don't know how that story unfolded. How do I want to end this program? Happy birthday to my landlord's brother, Paul, is having a birthday today. Andrew Garnett, Michelle Nowlin, George Woodworth, Simon McGinnis. If I have said your name, please get in contact with me with a private message. If you know those individuals, have them give me a shout. I will be talking to George Woodworth in the very near future. He has his van, but his van is currently in a shop, just getting a little more tickety-boo. There's adjustments that need to be made. I think it was something to do with his braking system, just making it a little easier for him to get around. So when George, I think he said he'd only driven it around the block once. But I will be speaking with George Woodworth in the very near future. Andrew Garnett will be talking about Ribfest, I believe. Simon McGinnis will be talking to him probably end of the week, maybe next week, I don't know. But if you want to do a split screen, or anytime you want to come on here and use MattTV as a platform to talk about what's going on in your life, you are certainly welcome. Before I forget, bad weather. There is more bad weather heading for the Maritimes, specifically, and this is for Toby LaFrance in the Edmundston area. There is a snowfall warning in effect for Edmundston and Madawaska County. Snowfall total amounts 15 to 25 centimeters expected tonight and tomorrow. Yeah, so a low pressure system currently south of the Great Lakes will intensify as it moves towards the Maritimes. Snow associated with the system will begin tonight, if it hasn't already done so. Here it is almost 9 o'clock, 25 to 9 in the Edmundston area. Total snowfall accumulations, 20 to 30 centimeters are expected in this storm. That is just gross. That is gross to be so early in April. But I know it's hit or miss, but it sounds like there's going to be more white stuff falling from the sky in northern New Brunswick. So if you were out and about, I know some of the roads still might be a little bit treacherous, potholes and whatnot. Just be careful going from point A to point B. Yes? All right, that's the weather. I found this story pretty funny. And going right back to the beginning of the show, have you ever been banned from a restaurant or a hotel, or are you currently banned from somewhere? And the reason I ask, this is a story that comes from Global News. Nova Scotia man is once again allowed to stay at Victoria's Fairmont Empress Hotel after 17 years. Now, here's what happened. Back in 2001, his employer was hosting a conference here in Victoria on the island, and he was also in the Canadian Naval Reserve. And when he told his friends that he was coming out west, they asked him to bring some Brothers pepperoni, which is a local delicacy from Halifax. So this guy shows up from Halifax with a suitcase full of pepperoni, but the airline lost the suitcase, so it showed up the next day. So the next day, this guy has a suitcase full of pepperoni. It's early April. There's no refrigerator in the hotel room, but he wants to keep it cool. So he takes a bunch of pepperoni out of the suitcase and just kind of has it lying on a table with the window open to his hotel room. And then he decides to go for a walk. The walk lasted 4 to 5 hours. When he came back, his hotel room was full. The hotel room was completely destroyed. It had like 40 to 50 seagulls in his room eating this pepperoni. So he was banned 17 years. So he has now just been allowed to come back to this hotel in Victoria, British Columbia. So I'm going to put that story up there. So again, just throwing it out there. Are you currently banned, or have you ever been banned from a hotel, casino, eating establishment? If you have, and if you're okay with sharing, by all means, do so. Do so. Okay, 4:39. Wow, I've been going for almost 40 minutes nonstop, and I'm not even talking to anyone but myself. But I'm going to end it on a very serious note. And what's going to happen here in the next week or so, I am expecting to be speaking with a representative from the Peace Arch Hospice Society. But I can tell you right now that the National Hospice Palliative Care Week runs from May 6th through the 12th. And the theme for 2018, quoting, "Towards a more compassionate Canada, eh?" It encourages Canadians to consider ways community involvement can support the dying and bereavement process. The Canadian Hospice Palliative Care Association is calling on Canadians to answer these questions. What makes a compassionate community? I don't know why it was so hard to say that. What makes a compassionate community, and how can compassionate communities support end-of-life care. So don't forget, coming up next May, or not next May, this coming May, within the next few weeks, National Hospice Palliative Care Week runs from May 6th through the 12th, and I will be speaking with one of the Peace Arch Hospice Society members, Beth. I think Beth is on vacation right now, but when she comes back to the Lower Mainland into White Rock, I will either have her on the phone, I will either maybe do a split screen, or I may have her right here in the MattTv studio. But just things to think about. Just things to think about. I think that's all I have. As we hit 441 here on the West Coast, it's overcast. No snow in the forecast here, but it's kind of chilly. Kind of a chilly day. And yes, maybe you didn't notice, but the old mustache goatee is gone. After a while, my skin just gets irritated. I have very sensitive skin, so I just have to give my face a break. Give my face a break. Nah. Okay, that's going to do it for me. Thanks for the live views. Thanks for dropping in and saying hi. I appreciate all the live views. Don't forget, my good friend Greg Cahoon, he is in a wheelchair. He's been in a wheelchair 8.5, 9 years. Swimming accident. He is trying to get to Panama. If you haven't seen the video, go back into the MattTv page. Go back to last Thursday at 8 o'clock. It's a 35-minute program. It's a great program. It was so much fun to have him in here. We'll be doing many more chats with Greg. But even if you don't have time, even if you don't have time to watch that 35-minute program, just share it. Just share it. We're at 19 shares right now. We have 19 shares for a 35-minute good feeling story. And then we have a lady who is spreading hatred by putting a picture up of this gentleman who had a shopping cart dispute. And that had 7,000 shares. Let's turn that around. Let's turn that around. Let's have more love, less hate on Facebook. Yes? All right. 442 here on the West Coast. That's going to do it for me. I will be back in here. I might come back in tomorrow. I don't know. I really don't know. I'll come back in whenever I so choose. That's the beauty of the internet. Have a great Tuesday night. Much love to everyone. Thanks for the live views. Thanks for the shares. Thanks for the comments. If you like and see what you, if you like what you see and hear on this broadcast, share this as well. It's all good. My name is Matthew. This is MattTv now and always from sea to sea.